In a lively village celebrated for its festivals, its laughter, and its unpredictable market days, lived a young man named Jabari. Unlike the hunters, farmers, or craftsmen who defined the village's reputation, Jabari was known for something entirely different: mischief. He was a trickster, a lover of jokes, riddles, and harmless chaos. Children adored him, elders sighed at him, and neighbors never quite knew whether to scold him or laugh. Jabari had a smile that could melt anger, and a tongue so quick it could slice through any scolding before it began. He could make a chief doubt his own decisions and convince a stubborn goat to follow him with nothing more than a wink. Some said he was blessed with wit. Others said he was simply trouble waiting to happen. But beneath the jokes and pranks, Jabari carried a loneliness he never shared. His laughter was loud, but his nights were quiet. He longed for someone, anyone, to take him seriously, even for a moment. Yet no matter what he did, no one ever saw beyond the trickster they thought he was. One season, a terrible drought struck the land. Crops wilted under the relentless sun, and the river shrank into muddy patches. The village chief sent offerings to the gods, but the skies remained empty. People grew anxious. Tempers flared. Elders whispered that a powerful deity named Esusu, guardian of rainfall and wind, had turned his face away. Every day the villagers prayed, but Esusu did not answer. One evening, as the sun sank behind the hills, Jabari stood alone near the drying riverbed. He kicked a stone into the shallow water and muttered, "If only I could prank a god into sending rain." He meant it as a joke, until the air around him shifted. The wind stilled, the sky darkened slightly, and suddenly someone was standing behind him. When Jabari turned, he saw a man dressed in dark blue cloth, embroidered with swirling silver patterns that moved like storm clouds. His skin glowed faintly, and his eyes held the fierce calm of thunder waiting to strike. "Did you just say you would prank a god?" the stranger asked. Jabari almost fell into the mud. Who are you?" The stranger smiled, but it was not a human smile. It was too smooth, too ancient. "I am Esusu," he said, "god of winds, keeper of clouds, bringer of storms." Jabari swallowed hard. "Esusu, the real one, the sky god? You?" The god's eyes sparkled. "You called me trickster." Jabari panicked. "It was a joke." "Exactly," Esusu replied. "And since you claim to be so clever, let us test your wit. My people have forgotten respect. They take without giving. They pray only when they need, never when they prosper. But you," he circled Jabari slowly, "you dare to threaten to trick a god?" Jabari backed away. "Threaten? Me? Never. I was only..." Esusu raised a hand. "You have two choices. One, you face me in a battle of your choosing. If you win, I restore the rain. If you lose, well, there are worse fates than drought." Jabari's heart dropped into his stomach. "And the second choice?" Esusu's grin widened. "You run, and I turn you into a leaf for the wind to scatter." Those were not good options. Jabari forced a smile. "Since you put it so kindly, I accept your challenge." The god crossed his arms. "Name your contest." Jabari thought quickly. He wasn't strong, he wasn't magical, and he definitely couldn't outwit a god in knowledge. But he was something no god was: annoying. "I challenge you to a simple game," he said. "A test of observation. If you lose, you send rain. If I lose, you can turn me into whatever you like." Esusu raised a brow. "What game?" "A guessing game," Jabari replied. "I will hide something. If you can find it, you win. If not, I win." Esusu laughed. A sound like rolling thunder You think you can hide anything from a god? Jabari shrugged. You asked for a challenge. The god agreed. At dawn, the next day, the entire village gathered to witness the spectacle. They came expecting Jabari to fail in some outrageous fashion. Some even came with leaves, wondering what kind he would be turned into. Esusu stood proudly at the center of the village square. Hide whatever you wish, trickster. I will find it in seconds. Jabari nodded and stepped away. He carried with him a small ordinary gourd, the same kind used to carry water. He held it up and announced, "This is the object I will hide." The crowd murmured. Hiding something so simple from a god? Impossible. Jabari knelt and pressed the gourd to his lips. Whispering words no one could hear, he turned the vessel around 3 times, then held it close to his chest. He smiled in satisfaction. Esusu smirked. "Are you ready?" "Ready," Jabari answered. "Find the gourd." Esusu stretched out his hand, calling upon winds that could tear mountains apart. The air swirled violently through the village, lifting baskets, shaking roofs, and tossing cloaks into the air. The wind swept every corner, every hut, every field, but the gourd did not appear. Esusu narrowed his eyes. He summoned the rains, allowing droplets to fall and reveal hidden objects. Still, nothing. He summoned lightning to scan the air. Still nothing. The villagers gasped. The god of wind and sky looked confused. Jabari yawned loudly. Having trouble. Esusu stepped forward. "Where is it? This is impossible. Nothing escapes me." Jabari shrugged. "Maybe your eyes are not as sharp as everyone says." With a scowl, Esusu unleashed his full power, the skies roaring in response. The village shook. Trees bent nearly to breaking. The earth trembled. Still nothing. Finally, exhausted, Esusu growled, "Tell me where you hid it." Jabari grinned. He tapped his chest. Esusu frowned. "Inside your shirt." "No," Jabari replied. "Inside me." The crowd gasped. "You swallowed the gourd," Esusu shouted, half disgusted, half incredulous. Jabari nodded proudly. "You said you would find it. You never said I couldn't hide it, where only I could reach it." Esusu stared at him in disbelief. The trickster smiled innocently. "The challenge was fair," Jabari added. "You could search the land and sky, but you cannot search me without breaking your own rules." The god threw back his head and laughed. A real laugh, deep and booming. The villagers trembled, unsure whether to laugh or run. "You tricked me," Esusu said. "Me, a god?" Jabari bowed. "I warned you." A long silence followed. Then Esusu lifted his hand, and thick clouds gathered instantly. Rain poured down in sheets, soaking the dry earth, filling the wells, restoring life to every corner of the village. The people cheered, dancing under the storm. Esusu looked at Jabari with new eyes, not angry, but impressed. "You will cause trouble for many years," he said, "but perhaps this world needs a little cleverness." Then he vanished in a flash of silver light. Jabari collapsed onto the ground, clutching his stomach. "Now, how do I get this thing out?" The villagers laughed for days, retelling the tale of the mischievous young man who outsmarted a god. And from that day on, Jabari was no longer just a village prankster. He was the trickster of legends, the only mortal who ever played with a god, and won. Welcome to African Folklore Vault. If Jabari's wits moved you, hit subscribe to follow more powerful African folklore and cinematic tales. And don't forget to like, comment, and share this story. Your support helps the forest whisper new legends.